Hello, hello, my friends. The weekly moon report. Let's tune in, place your hand on your heart, and find out what's the most important thing that you need to know about this week ahead. So, I'm going to shuffle my cards. We're tuning in to your intuition, how the moon affects daily routines, habits, how it helps you tap into your intuition, how you can harness the energy of the moon to really make the most of the moment and create the life of your dreams. Okay. So, most important thing that you need to know this week, the magician. You have access to all the tools that you need in order to create the life of your dreams, to co-create. I like co-creation better than the word manifesting, because manifesting, I feel like it's gotten this kind of rap that it feels almost like, oh, if I just sit there and I make my vision board and I wish it and dream it and visualize it and picture it enough, then it'll come to be. But what happens more often than not is that it doesn't come to be because it's missing a key piece, which is taking action on the intuitive hits you receive. And that's why I like the word co-creating, because when we have a wish or a desire in our heart, I truly believe it's been placed there by something bigger than ourselves, really just by God, and that we're not being left alone with this dream, but we are in a process of co-creating it with God, with divinity, with source, however you connect to that bigger energy, that higher power. And as we go along the way, we're getting these little intuitive hints or nudges that I love to call inklings, those little knowings like, oh, I just need to call this person. I need to just go for this job. I need to throw my hat in the ring. I need to take action. And the magician is about taking action. I love that the infinity symbol is present because to me, that's also symbolic and representative. Which conjugation did I want of that word? Representative of you are connecting with something bigger than yourself. You're connecting with an energy and a vibration that really and truly is helping you in this pathway, helping you access the right people, places, things. And the magician in the traditional card has all these tools in front of him. And it's saying that you have what it takes in order to make it's just simply a matter of becoming aware of these skills, gifts, tools that you have and putting them into action. Okay, so that's the energy of this week. And as you hop on, definitely give me a little hello, a little wave. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where people are tuning in from. And with some of the new streaming rules, I know that I'm not in some of the places I was. So hopefully you'll be able to find me. And if you're on my email list, you always will be, because I send out an email with the recording of all of the important things that you need to know about this week ahead. Okay, so let's jump into planning for the week. That's when I go to my handy dandy, oops, I'm attached to a cord. My handy dandy trusty Inside of the Moon journal and planner. And if you don't have one, why not? Click the link around this and scoop yours up. Okay. The reason I created this was because I couldn't find anything out there that helped me really collect the data. Because my background, I have a background in decision sciences, management information systems, and I like to have data. And we're working with a lot of intangibles, feelings, gut instincts, intuition, knowings, heebie-jeebies, creeps, who knows? But it's hard to look at it and have something that we feel like this is scientific. I have proof. I've got data I can look back on. Something that just doesn't feel happenstance, but it can become a repeatable action so we can get consistent results. And that's also why I created my Mastering Intuition program. But this is a great beginning step. So this is kind of like the veg and tofu portion, meat and potatoes, where you can capture what phase the moon is in, what sign it's in, your mood. This is important because I can give you a general overarching feeling of, okay, the moon is in Capricorn today, so you might be feeling XYZ, but it's important that you start to pinpoint your exact mood. It'll be similar to the overarching energy, but you're going to get into that nuance that really enables you to refine what you're doing and to take action. Okay, so first thing I want to do is with this energy, I want to talk about the phase of the moon. It's where I love to start. We start at a high level and then we drill down. So we're in a waning phase. We had a full moon last week. Sorry, I'm getting ready for the new moon coming up. We had a full moon last week. So the moon is waning. And whenever a moon is waning, it's about you're kind of sifting and sorting and letting go of things. The full moon is a culmination. Something has come to completion. It's come to a fullness. It's a moment of celebration, reflection. We were working towards this goal. This worked for us. And maybe this didn't work for us so much. So now in the waning phase, we say, okay, well, what didn't work for us? Or what has completed that now we tie a bow on and we put on the shelf, or we move on. So like my son graduated. I'm so excited he graduated from university and he's moving on to the next thing. So that's a big culmination. That's a big completion. Not all of our full moons will be like that, but there are wins that we can celebrate. That's why it's great to use the moons to help us, because we might not always pause and celebrate the wins. But right now, the energy we're in is letting go. So what is letting go great for? Well, spring cleaning right now, cleaning out closets, cleaning out files, losing weight. It's a letting go. It's good to, how do I want to say, cull, like, what is it? Like sift through the, oh my goodness, the wheat and the shaft. How does that Bible verse go? But you want to just sift through all. Anyway, I didn't have my coffee yet and it's not coming through. The basic important thing is what's no longer working for you. It's time to refine it. It's time to let go. A key piece of this, the last quarter moon, which happens on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. I love to practice forgiveness rituals during the last quarter moon. The Ho'oponopono is a beautiful sacred tradition from the Hawaiian traditions. And the beautiful thing that I find when we practice forgiveness, kind of like with gratitude, is that sometimes we can sabotage ourselves or hold ourselves back from the next big thing because we're upset with ourselves. We haven't forgiven ourselves over a mistake we made in the past or a decision or a choice, and it's holding us back. We don't want to make the same mistake again. We don't want to hurt the same people. Or maybe someone's hurt us and we can't move forward because we're worried it's going to happen again. So when we're letting go, what you're doing is you're cultivating the garden of your heart, the soil in your heart for the next growth cycle, the next new moon where you plant a seed or in intention. That's why I encourage you, do a little forgiveness practice. Even if it's simply just saying the Ho'oponopono, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. It's very powerful and very healing and very elegant in its compactness. I'll say it that way. Okay. So now that we know the general overall energy of the week, let's drill into each day. So Monday, the day starts off with the moon in Capricorn. So we're going to look at each day. We'll talk about the energy of the moon, what kind of mood's going on, and even how I set an intention for the week. We'll kind of do that at the end. Sometimes I do that at the end because it's kind of like reverse engineering. Because of this book being spiritual in its nature, even though I set an intention for the week, I don't always go in saying, this is what I want to accomplish. Instead, I go in and I look at the energy and I say, okay, well, I've got a Capricorn moon and that enables me to access this energy more easily. And, I have an Aquarius moon. I can access these tools and gifts. And then I align it with some of my bigger intentions and say, okay, if I have this kind of energy or weather this week, like you have great weather, it's like, okay, I can do a bunch of landscaping. Bad weather, you're like, okay, I'll stay inside. I'll do a bunch of indoors work. So that way I'm reverse engineering the big intention that I set at the beginning of the week, as well as my top 3 things I'm focusing on, the crystal that's going to be my ally, the ritual that I work into, and how I'm going to feed my spirit. So I kind of like to work backwards in that way. The planning part comes in because it is the beginning of a new month. We're coming into May, my fabulous Taurus friends, and we're going to be starting this whole planning section. And that enables you to kind of always keep the big picture in mind. But on a weekly basis, that's what I like to do. I've already set my big picture at the beginning of a month. Each week, I'm reverse engineering a little bit to see how I can reach that big picture. Okay, with that being said, let's talk about Monday. Moon is in Capricorn. It's great for getting business done, big picture thinking, being the visionary. If you have to really just get down to brass tacks, I love saying Moon in Capricorn is like the Tom Hanks character in A League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball. Moon in Capricorn allows you to step out of your emotions. So if you tend to be an emotional person, Moon in Capricorn allows you to make decisions more logically, not be so swayed by emotions. It allows you to be more pragmatic and down to earth about things. And it helps you really be the visionary of where you want to go in life. So I know for me today, I woke up, my mood, I take care of it. I write it down. I said, I'm ready to take care of business, ready to jump back in. Last week, I was with a client, assisting her at an incredible conference, being her right hand energy gal. And so I'm coming back to my work this week and I'm ready to jump in. So Monday, great day for getting work and business done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a card for this and just say, how can you make the most of Monday's energy? Okay, so hand on your heart, tuning in, and we see, so this card, which represents a square energy or a quincunx, is a little bit of tension. It's saying you might have to make some refinements or adjustments in order to really manage stress and health. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is, as you have that big picture visionary CEO day, make sure you don't bite off more than you chew. You might have big eyes today on all the things you want to accomplish. So take a moment to plan, look at the whole week, the energy that you have available. We're going to think about the month ahead. And I just got an inspirational idea. I like it. You're going to look at the whole week ahead and you're going to just give yourself the moment and the opportunity to tune in and say, all right, what might need to be adjusted a little bit, revised plan wise, so that I'm not stressing myself out. I'm not overstretching myself. There's some little refinement that needs to be made, just because it could be that you're taking on too much with these big plans this week. So look realistically at how much, and I'll say it this way, that you have rest time to rest, time to enjoy yourself, and time to heal, because Mars is moving into Aries and we're moving into a big energy of go, let's do, let's run, let's play hard. And you're being encouraged to give yourself here on Monday, well, this whole week really, some time to also include rest. So even though you have 24 hours in a day, remember sleep. Remember resting time, where you're simply just sitting there and looking out and staring into the clouds. Okay. All right. So Tuesday, Moon is still in Capricorn. And remember, we're in a waning phase. So this is a great time to really, I'm going to use this word, ruthlessly look at your business, ruthlessly look at the things in your life. And it could be you're the CEO of your home. It could be the CEO of your life. But this is a time to, I'm choosing my words carefully. I'm hearing these words, but they're not necessarily words I would use. They feel a little intense and harsh, but I'm also channeling. So I'll say that this way, ruthlessly make the cuts. Myself, I have a moon in Cancer. So it can be very hard at times to let go of things like mementos and my kids' baby things. And it's like, oh, but the memories, and this was gifted like by my mom, and she's up in heaven now. And and today would be a day, if I so chose, that I could go through some of those mementos and I could ruthlessly make the cuts. To me, it feels ruthless, right? Because it's like, oh, I'd be letting go of this thing that meant so much. It's not the physical item. I know that in my head, but it just represents a memory. But today would be a day where I could make that cut, where I could let go. So Tuesday, how can you make the most of Tuesday's energy? Ooh, Sagittarius, expand, ruled by Jupiter. Here's the thing. I am developing, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say developing. I'm coming to a new understanding with Jupiter. Jupiter is considered a planet of good luck and good fortune and expansion and growth. Definitely, most definitely considered one of these benefic planets, bestows good fortune upon people. But Jupiter being expansion, we also have to remember that every planet, every sign has a high vibrational expression and a lower vibrational expression. And high vibrational expansion, expansion and growth around, let's say, financial abundance or good health or playtime, promotions, opportunities. But let's say it's around food, that could also expand our waistline. So we need to be careful. Or if it's around like weeds in the yard, it could be weeds, which might be great if you're making your dandelion wine and your red clover infusions. But sometimes growth and expansion, we want to be mindful of it. So the way that I really feel this, since we're in this waning phase, is know that in order for growth and expansion to happen, think about the garden analogy. Your fruits and vegetables can't grow if the garden is choked out by weeds. So you have to release what might have expanded and grown in an area that is no longer serving your highest. Watch the stories you're telling yourself, the beliefs that you hold in your head. If I think about the baby clothes, what beliefs do I have that are, keeping me holding on to those items that might bless someone else, that I could pass on, that could be helpful? What stories, what beliefs are holding me back? So that's another aspect of this. All right. Wednesday's energy. So Wednesday, the moon is in that last quarter phase and it is in Aquarius. So this is where I like to just take a day or some time out and just tune into that practice of forgiveness, tuning in to say, where might I trip myself up or sabotage because I'm still beating myself up over a past decision or choice or mistake I may have made, or where someone has wronged or hurt me. And you just take that moment and you bring healing to the situation so that you can move forward. So how can you make the most of, and let me just say, with an Aquarius moon, Aquarius is very innovative. They think outside the box. So this would be a great day if there's anything tech-wise that you have to do. Let's say you're in the field of online business or at work or even at home. I have a friend who got a new phone recently. A moon in Aquarius would be a great day to set up your phone. It would be a great day to do something techie, like if you had to build something like a website or you had to communicate, in the sense of it's not ruled by Mercury, but Uranus rules that technology. It rules the way that we, artificial intelligence. It rules the way that we think differently. And so maybe you've been trying to problem solve and you've been stuck on something. Wednesday and Thursday, great day for thinking outside the box. It would be a day that I would encourage you to have Monet time. And that's actually how I'm going to nourish or feed my spirit this week. I have that little box every week. How are you going to feed your spirit or nourish your soul? Meaning, how are you going to fill yourself back up? It's more than, it could just be the simple things like a massage or a mani-pedi or a bath. Those could be great things, most definitely. But sometimes I feel like that's not always soul filling. It's not satiating. I want to say satiating, but there are other things that really just satiate your soul. It's kind of like eating something and still being super hungry afterwards and going, I just had all these calories, this huge meal. Why am I still hungry? And then maybe you look at the quality of the food and you're like, oh, well, didn't have that many good growing food qualities, as I call them, vitamins and minerals and fiber, who knows? But you're being encouraged to do something that's nourishing. Okay. And I'll talk about the Monet time here in a moment. But in the meantime, let's just find out how you can make the most of Wednesday's energy. Ooh, Capricorn, achieve. Now, this is interesting. Capricorn is also about discipline. Capricorn is about having structure in place so that you can achieve your dreams. This is that phrase that I love, or quote, discipline equals freedom. And sometimes we can look at discipline and the rules and regulations like, especially now this is very interesting because this is the complement, as I like to say, but really the opposite of Aquarian energy. Aquarius, who is the moon on Wednesday, it's a rebel. It's like, I don't want to follow the rules. I don't want to be disciplined. I want to play. I want to have fun. I'm optimistic. I just want to get out there and enjoy life. And here's the thing. Well, maybe I'm thinking because I said optimistic because we pulled the Sagittarian card. Here's the thing is that with Capricorn, it's saying, okay, Aquarius is expansive. It's an air element and it's learned how to contain water, emotion. But Aquarian friends, they really have a challenging time grounding because they're so in the space of element or realm of air, where their mind is going and thinking. It's so creative. It's getting all these ideas and all these thoughts. And Capricorn is saying, let's create a structure to capture those thoughts, to channel them so that you can actually achieve your dreams. You're not just stuck in thought mode, idea mode, just letting all these ideas come in, but you can actually physically, through the element of earth, create them. So I'll tell the Monet story now, but what I mean by Monet time is for this week's nourishment is that Monet one day decided, you know what? I'm going out into my backyard, beautiful spring day. I've got this great willow tree and this great bench. And he sat up, laid down, put his hat on his face, and his nosy neighbor poked up over the side of his hedge. And he said, "Hey, Monet, what you doing? Resting?" And Monet said, "No, I'm working. Leave me alone." Monet thinking, or the neighbor thinking Monet had lost his mind, went his own way. Next day, Monet comes into the backyard. He's got his easel, he's got his palette, he's got his canvas, his paintbrushes, and he starts to furiously and frantically start painting. And the nosy neighbor pops up over the hedge and he says, "Hey, Monet, what you doing? Working?" And Monet says, "No, I'm resting." And it's this beautiful oxymoron where when Monet took the time to pause and to simply be and just experience life. There was no plan, there was no agenda. He wasn't, quote unquote, trying to work. He was able to receive insights and downloads, little intuitive hits. Really, he was just able to have headspace clear enough to think and experience. And that's why, my intention for this week, when I look back, it was pause, go, pause. Maybe I should have said rest. I have a hard time slowing down. I like to keep going. So I remind myself of the Monet time, that it is in the pause, it is in the rest that we can get some of our most incredible work done. So that when we go back to quote unquote work, we can achieve great things because we're simply channeling it. We're not forcing the idea. We're not running into writer's block. So I would encourage you on Tuesday and Wednesday, carve out some Monet time, meaning carve out some time to pause in your schedule. Remember to rest. Remember that downtime, because when you do, you jump back into work, it's going to flow, quote unquote work. It's going to flow in such a way that you feel at ease. You feel like you're resting because you've already done all the hard work. And I hope that makes sense. But it's really quite cool the way it can happen. So Wednesday, the moon is in Aquarius. Thursday, the moon is in Aquarius. And so you're just being given those innovative, creative ways to think. We're going to pull a card for Thursday. Now I'm getting myself confused. I think I pulled a card for Thursday because it was Jupiter for Wednesday, Capricorn for Thursday. Let's jump into Friday, Pisces energy. Pisces moon. Pisces moon is very intuitive and it can be emotional because Pisces run very deep. They don't necessarily show all of their emotions, but they're so empathic. They can absorb so much. They feel on an incredible depth, a deep, deep level, any pain and suffering and hurt and joy. And so Thursday, it's Friday and Saturday when the moon is in Pisces. I'm going to encourage you that this would be a great day to do something that is either musical, that involves water, that enables you to tune into your intuition. Pay attention to your intuition. I don't keep saying Thursday. Pay attention to your intuition Friday and Saturday. You might find, now the reason I'm not saying like a sitting meditation, some of you might be drawn to a sitting meditation, but the reason I hesitate with that just a little bit is I know that there's an energy of go this week that is going to be very intense because Mars is going to be moving into its happy place of Aries. Mars loves being in Aries. Mars rules Aries signs. And so there's going to be this focus, this kind of feeling of like, I need to go, I need to do, I need to go, I need to do. That's why we want to weave in some natural pause points. So, so important. And as you move into that moon in Pisces, get a really good playlist and maybe you go for a walk, or you go for a walk in the woods or by a body of water where the nature is making its own music. That's even better. But a day for intuition, that would be the day to really give yourself some time somehow to unplug from the world, because the Aquarian energy has you plugging in. It has you tuning into humanity and community. And that Piscean energy allows you to daydream a little bit, to unplug. So maybe that's the day when you channel your Monet. Okay, so how can you make the most of Friday's energy? Hold on, I've got to shuffle. Hello, Terry. So great to have you live. All right, how can you make the most of Friday's Piscean energy? Midheaven, pinnacle. Oh, I love this. So this is you coming out into the world. I've got a song popping into my head. This is you. How do I want to say? It's really the front door of the 10th house. It is your public image. It is your soul's calling. It is your career. So since we have that Pisces moon, I feel like what you can do is in that moment of pause, really enable yourself to hear your soul's calling, to hear, what it is you're meant to share with the world. There's this feeling of, I'll go back to that word. Well, the word I like better is potential and possibility. We haven't quite achieved it yet, but we're working towards it. We feel this innate pull and calling. So Friday's energy, allow yourself to tune into that soul's calling. Allow yourself to get a little daydreamy, but still always ground. Okay, Saturday. So Saturday, moon's still in Pisces. We're still in the waning crescent, so we're letting go. You might find too, another song that popped into my head. It was in Alvin and the Chipmunks, one of the more recent live action ones, the Had a Bad Day song. And sometimes, or the John Denver song, like sometimes you feel like a sad song. It would be a great day to emote, to let go of all the feelings that maybe you've bottled up. So I don't know if you guys ever do this, let me know. But I remember sometimes I remember points in my life where it was like, I just want to watch a sad movie. I just want to cry. It's just a healing. It's cathartic. It's a way to let the emotions out that have been bottled up inside, because we can't always emote. We can't always show our emotions. It would be great if we could, but sometimes we're in situations, we're in the boardroom, we're in an office, we're giving a presentation, we have to teach and be in front of people, and we can't be breaking down and crying or getting angry or frustrated. We're trying to remain our professionalism. But those emotions get bottled up doesn't mean we don't have them. So to be able to release them somehow, some way, so that we can heal. Because if we keep those emotions bottled up, they show up in physical experiences. Maybe it's a headache, maybe it's an upset stomach, maybe it's tension in the shoulders. It could be a lot of things. It could be very little like that, or it could be something very big. So I would encourage you, as we move towards the weekend, that you give yourself some quiet time, some introspection time, and healing time. Ooh, confirmation. It's my phone beeps. Okay, so card for Saturday. How can you make the most of Saturday's energy? Let's see if this guy wants to come out. Vesta, your hearth. So this is your home. This is the energy of what I really see is create a place that feels comfortable, that you can nest in. It feels safe. When we walk through that door at home, you finally go, like I can relax now, especially if you've been traveling or maybe a long day after being in the office. Friday and Saturday is great just for simply saying, you know what, I need to feel really comfortable in my own skin. Love that French saying, bien dans sa peau, comfortable in your own skin. That ability to just feel at home, where I can let my guard down and I can share and show my emotions. So really, really healing weekend. I'm going to share some sacred practices you can do in a moment. Okay, Sunday's energy. Now the the moon moves into Aries. And as that moon is in Aries, you're going to be feeling more of that confidence. You're going to be feeling leadership qualities. You can, maybe don't tap into that way. That's why it's like, take note of your mood, take track of the data. But Aries are bold. they go for it. They're leading the charge. They've got lots of energy. It's fiery. So maybe there's something that you've been hesitating on because maybe you've been shy about it or hesitant, like, who am I to bring this into the world? Or, I don't want to make waves. Aries never worry about making waves. Aries is my complementary sign as a Libra. Libras, we can worry sometimes. I don't want to make waves. I don't want to rock the boat. My Aries friends look at me and they're like, oh my God, Irina, just come on, just do it. What's your problem? But Aries, they go for it. So this is a day where if you've been hesitating on something, maybe a pitch that you wanted to share, asking for that promotion, maybe it is, speaking up for yourself. Maybe it is going after something your heart's desired, but you just didn't quite have that feeling of, this is mine. You could definitely tune into that on Sunday. Okay, so how to make the most of Sunday's energy with that moon in Aries, Jupiter. So Jupiter pops up again. So this time we see Jupiter, not the Sagittarius expression. Jupiter rules Sagittarian energy. Jupiter, look at all that bounty, all the grapes, the pumpkins. It's like a cornucopia. Cornucopia? And I see a little spider on my ceiling. Spiders are wonderful. When you see these little animals and insects in your life, they can bring meanings and symbolisms. And it's interesting that little spider caught my eye up above as I'm bringing Jupiter to you. Jupiter is abundance, and we're in Taurus energy. And Taurians, they love abundance. Even though they're ruled by Venus, they love Venus, I'll say prosperity. It's an abundant and prosperous energy of Taurus season that we're in now, which is why I'm going to share with you the sacred geometric shape that we have for this month ahead, as well as the sacred practices that'll support it. And to me, this feels like, how good can you stand it? Really, sometimes I'll say it this way. The Aries energy will make you bold enough to say, you know what? I really, I'm going to take the time to value myself enough that I'm going to splurge a little. Like maybe where you might have pinched pennies or you might have been quote unquote frugal with yourself. I'm taking a while to choose my words carefully because words are very, very important and they carry very powerful energies. But where you might have been very frugal with yourself or very disciplined, this is saying, take some time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You've been working really hard. Give yourself time to enjoy the finer things in life. Maybe you decide, you know what, I'm going to get that expensive grocery store item that I normally don't get. Maybe you get like the store brand instead of the brand name. Or maybe it's like, you know what, I want to treat myself to a dinner out, or I want to treat myself to a nice high thread count, or I want to treat myself to an extra hour of sleeping in, but this is just allowing yourself to enjoy, to take pleasure. Taurus energy, they know how to engage with pleasure. That's important to them. It's part of what makes them tick, you could say. It's wonderful because the Capricorns can be very austere with themselves and they can be very, very disciplined to the point of maybe not enjoying themselves quite as much. That's why we need each other. The whole zodiac circle, we need each other to support one another. Okay. So that's the energy of this week. If you guys ever have questions, definitely pop them into the comments below. But quickly before we go, I'm just going to share with you the sacred practices I'm tuning into to support this month. So in the journal, it's dateless. You can stop and start wherever you want. It very much has been channeled. It was a beautiful co-creation. So proud of it. I love it so much and how it works out. But the overarching affirmation for this month ahead is, the world is my oyster. I find the pearls. And be open to miracles. I have a little theme for the month. The crystal that I'm working with, my little crystal ally, is jade. Do you guys ever work with jade? Beautiful for prosperity, abundance, good luck. And I also have a little affirmation for that one. I love life and it flows through me in ever greater abundance. Woo! This stone reminds you to enjoy life, I say, and create harmony and open to the flow of prosperity. Ritual for feeding the spirit. It's the Monet story. Then I'm going to take some time this week, and this is a little inspiration I had because I know these go on a long time. There's so much I want to share with you each week, and I'm going to try to make little chapters so you can come back easily to the section you need. But with that being said, I plan the month ahead, and I'm thinking maybe I'll have a little group session. If you guys are interested in like monthly planning, let me know. I'm going to create, I think, little group sessions so I don't take up too much of your time here, where we plan ahead and we say, okay, this is a new moon, the full moon. This is when a planet might go retrograde. This is when, we might have another astrological event that we could harness and take advantage of. Then you can plan when you want to do certain things, and you won't feel like, oh, that was a flop or a dud. But you really know. And then we also talk about new and full moon. And the sacred geometric shape for this month is the tree of life, the Kabbalistic tree of life. And so in the monthly planning, I could go into why I choose the sacred geometric shape, how it can help you in creation. But this is a sacred geometric shape I'm using. I explain in the journal how I use it. There's lots of different ways: crystal grids, coloring, meditation focal points, but sacred rituals, mudra, mantra, and meditation. And the mudra that I'm going to do this month to really take advantage of this beautiful, abundant, prosperous energy of Taurus is the Kubera mudra. And to do that, you just take index and middle finger and you bring them to your thumb tips. And once you have them touching, you curl ring finger and pinky finger in. So your hands just look like this. And then you can just rest the backs of the hands on your lap. Kind of looks like the Italians. Oh, mamma mia. And you can rest the hands on the back of your lap. And already you might even be able to detect the shift in the energy. Like I can really feel it in my right hand. I have to check in with my left side. I think it might not be flowing quite as easily. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes it's just intention. Oh. So all these little subtleties and nuances, the more that you do these energy practices, the more you can begin to notice slight shifts in the energy. It's kind of like someone who has been on the water all their life. And let's say, maybe I'll use this example because it's more, I can speak more knowledgeably about this. I wasn't on the water. My family lineage, though, was. Driving a standard. Have any of you guys driven a standard stick shift? And when you're first learning, you're like, oh my God, this is a hill. And everybody looks around and they're like, this is not a hill. This is totally flat. But you feel every little incline so intensely because all of a sudden it's all dependent upon your fancy footwork in order not to roll backwards and hit the car behind you. So you start to notice all of the hills. You become more and more sensitive. Now, the more practiced you become, the fear leaves, but you're still aware and sensitive to the inclinations or the inclines. So the more that you do these practices, the more refined and aware you become of how it shifts you. But this is a special yogic hand gesture to help you achieve that connection to your value, what you bring to this world, your gifts. It helps you tune into the flow of prosperity and abundance. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining me to play. If this has been helpful for you, please do share it with a friend. I love to share these energy weather reports. Let me know if there is an aspect of them that you'd like to focus more on. I want to make this helpful for you in your journey. And with that being said, if you haven't loved, liked, subscribed, hit the little bell for notifications, all the good things, I do appreciate it when you do that because it helps me continue to bring these out to you into the world. All right. Have an amazing, amazing day. And I'm going to think more about some Monet time, that monthly planning session. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. All right. Mwah! Lots of love. Bye, guys.